From Hollywood to the Glass City, stick around to hear a local filmmaker come home to tell a story.
Delay of game? I'm Zeke Fravor with how a shortage of referees could impact you and your children.
Gun violence in Toledo? I'm Kira Jacobs, live in the newsroom with what a new Toledo prosecutor plans to do about it. Your news in 10 minutes starts now.
Toledo is breaking lots of records, but not the kind you want to see broken.
Police say gun violence is at an all-time high, and they're taking some serious steps to stop it. UT10 Kiara Jacobs joins us now live in the newsroom. Kiara, what are leaders doing?
They're using federal funds, a 2-year grant, to hire a new prosecutor and take control of the situation. A local activist says that this may help, but it'll take a lot more than that to solve this deadly problem.
The police department has a couple of tools at their disposal that we are using to help us locate problem areas within the city.
That's attorney David Burrell. He says he and TPD have a plan.
Help us identify individuals that are creating those problems and then help us link together the actions and the individuals so that we can prosecute them and hopefully get them off the street.
According to Toledo police records, there have been 64 homicides this year in Toledo. From January 1st to September 13th, there were 269 teens involved in a felonious assault case. And since June, there have been 3 mass shootings, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Although gun violence comes in many different forms, Dave Ross, a community activist, recognizes it a lot in the youth that he works with. Due to his past experiences, Ross has an understanding with many inner city teens and why they partake in gun violence.
What I try to teach them is decision-making skills and valuing different things, valuing life.
He thinks that another thing that needs to be done is work within the community, and a lot of that starts with teens' home lives.
We got to go to the parents and teach parents to have foundations that these kids can fall back on.
He believes that without trying to understand the youth and without trying to establish trust within a community, success will not be achieved.
No one person can solve violence or reduce it. It's a village effort.
David Burrell says that his position was created to get guns off the street, and that if this plan continues to work, then authorities will continue to use it. I'm Kira Jacobs, live in the newsroom, UT10 News.
Thank you, Kiara. Teens or others interested in working with activist Dave Ross may find him leading youth programs at the Junction Coalition downtown.
Mark your calendars for November 20th as a local filmmaker will share a story about mental health. This award-winning film debuted in Hollywood, traveled around the globe, and now the filmmaker gets to share it in her hometown right here in Toledo. Vanessa Leonard is doing great, but that wasn't always the case.
About 10 years ago or so, I myself was diagnosed with a mood disorder.
A struggle she knows she shares with countless others.
I think it definitely took a lot of self-care, a lot of treatments, a lot of coping mechanisms.
One way to cope, to share a life-saving message, specifically a story worth living.
I knew 2 things. I wanted to write a drama film, and I wanted it to be on mental health. I really just wanted to highlight mental health in a very raw and authentic way.
And it didn't take long for the film to gain success and recognition. Leonard achieved the Best Feature Film Award at the Up Next Film Festival in Atlanta, along with other awards she's won across the country. The award-winning film will be coming to the Toledo area later in November, with the first stop being at the Maumee Indoor Theater. In addition to the accolades, Leonard now has a sponsor. She teamed up with ARCA driver Brad Smith to have the title of her movie be on his car.
To hear that the name of the movie would be on a car, that was surreal.
The car will be showcased at Imagination Station Theater on November 27th, where the second showing of the movie will take place. For the people who go out to see this film, Leonard wants to remind them that everyone has a story to tell.
Life is what you make it, and life is how you perceive it. And to really just keep going after your dreams and fulfilling your dreams, because each of us, we all have a story worth living.
Tickets can be purchased online at eventbrite.com, or they can be purchased at the door. A portion of ticket sales will be donated to the Zeph Center. If you or someone you know is dealing with mental health, you're not alone. You can visit mentalhealth.gov or call 1-877-264-727.
According to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, there are over 281,000 new cases this year, with over 10,000 being in Ohio. A local survivor shares her story. Andrea Sumner was diagnosed in April of this year and underwent a 20-week chemotherapy process. After lab tests and screenings, the cause of Sumner's cancer diagnosis was unknown. The process was long, but she thanks her supporters that she received along the way, as well as her family.
They're my first priority, and I want to be at everything for them, so.
If you're in need of a screening mammogram, Mercy Health is making them more accessible with their mammogram van. If you want to learn more on how to request the van, call 833-626-6826.
The return of events is important to the entertainment industry as 20,000 plus people were laid off in 2020. Many seats were left empty, but live experiences are coming back and will have people eager for concerts, trade shows, sporting events, and conferences. Members of management at the Huntington Center, home to the Toledo Walleye, are looking to have people cheer on their team as their season starts tomorrow. Assistant box office manager Franny Cruz hopes that attendance will continue to grow as more shows go on.
State have been under quarantine for so long. I think some people have been waiting for it, and some people are still questionable if they want to come out.
The Huntington Center has upcoming events in November and beyond. To learn more about these events, visit the link we posted on our website, ut10news.com. Halloween is just 3 days away. Lauren, what options do families have this year?
Jordan, there's lots of options this year if parents are looking for the areas to take their little monsters and ghosts. Here are just a few of the trick-or-treat times on the 31st for the Toledo area. Metamora and Deltas go from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Candy time in Toledo, Maumee, Springfield Township, and Ottawa Hills is 6 to 8 p.m. And in Michigan, Monroe Township goes from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Don't forget to be safe out there and stay warm.
Now it's time to toss it over to Caleb with sports.
Caleb, what do you have for us?
Lauren and Jordan, there's a lot to stick around for. Rockets recently hosted the Western Michigan Broncos, and also,
the ball seems to be bouncing in the favor of a particular program for the Rockets here in 2021. I'm Jamal McKinney detailing which team could make a push.
Suicide rates are rising at alarming rates across the country and on college campuses. Is mental health promoted enough on college campuses? I sit down with university experts to discuss why this is happening and what they're doing to stop it next week on UT10 News.
The University of Toledo's Department of Communication is proud to announce a new partnership with WGTE Public Media. UT10, the university's student-run newscast, and Rocket Talk, a new campus talk show, will both air on Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. on WGTE.
WGTE stands for Western Greater Toledo Education. That means everything we do here, radio, TV, outreach components, or anything we do has to have an educational part to it. We are hoping to accomplish here with this partnership getting the great content from the students, their views and how they look at issues that are happening in the news, and then providing that contact for our community. So the partnership is really twofold. It's great for the university and it's great for us as well to get that inside content from the student's point of view.
Thank you to WGTE for giving broadcast students of the future a new home.
Welcome back. I'm Zeke Fravor.
and I'm Caleb Gill with your UT10 Sports Report. Toledo football team played Western Michigan in the Glass Bowl this past weekend, but first,
officiating is a way for people to stay involved in sports long after they quit playing. But you may be surprised why so few people are donning the stripes today. Whistles and cheers fill the air throughout most fall and winter weekends at Sylvania Tam O'Shanter. It's so loud that you can barely hear, but it could soon be silent unless more people sign up to referee. Numbers are lower than ever before, and Ohio High School Athletic Association Director of Officials Bo Rugg says there are a couple of reasons for that.
The number one reason is really the environment, the caustic environment of fans, and the COVID pandemic has really taken a bite out of a lot of officials.
How can more officials be retained?
Getting officials connected initially to groups that can help get them games and those types of things.
The low number of officials is felt at arenas throughout the area, including Tam O'Shanter, here in Sylvania. Local assigner Bill Himmel says he uses an automated assignment system in order to easier offer games to officials. Rugg also said games could be canceled if numbers don't start to go up. Now from the rink to the court, where we check in on the Rockets volleyball team.
Thank you, Zeke. The Rockets volleyball team is entering the stretch run of their 2021 season. And as Jamon McKinney found out, there's a lot of excitement brewing around the team as the MAC tournament approaches.
The University of Toledo women's volleyball team is looking to make it into the MAC tournament for the first time in several years. And while the Rockets do hope the ball bounces their way come tournament time, they'd much rather take what's theirs rather than relying on a lucky bounce.
But when you only have a couple of challenges in a match,
many would ask what is different in 2021 compared to the past few seasons.
I think we have really good team chemistry on this team. We all hang out on and off the court, and I think that really shows when we play together. But also the culture, I think that it's changed a lot over the years.
The leadership and the character of our program has been growing every year, but this year it's been top-notch.
Special milestones also have been reached along the way. Ryan Jaquay recently reached 1,000 career digs, something she is forever grateful for, along with her teammates as well.
I mean, it's exciting. It just shows that hard work pays off, but I obviously couldn't do it without my team.
With the MAC tournament being within reach, the Rockets down the stretch will look to take their play to the next level.
Our goal is to make it to the MAC tournament. That is something that we are really striving for.
The way we're going to do that is by playing consistent volleyball, really bringing it every single day in practice so that we learn how to play at a high level every day.
Tournament play begins on November 22nd with the anticipation among Rockets fans that their team will be more than present. In Toledo, Ohio, I'm Jamon McKinney, UT10 News.
After losing their last two games, the Rockets were desperate to get back into the win column. Like the past couple of games for the Rockets, the team got out to another slow start. After a 32-yard punt return from sophomore Devin Maddox set the Rockets up in good field position, they were only able to get 3 points on the drive, which would end up being the only points of the quarter for either team. The second quarter, you could feel both teams starting to heat up, with Toledo scoring another field goal and a touchdown, and Western Michigan getting 2 touchdowns and a field goal as well. The 15-13 lead that Western took into half would end up being their only lead for the rest of the game, before Toledo came out of halftime ready to roll. Rockets were able to score 21 unanswered points in the third quarter, which gave the Rockets a lead that the Broncos were just not able to come back from. Toledo was able to run out the clock in the fourth quarter and win the game 34-15. Junior running back Brian Kobach was able to quietly get 100 yards rushing on the day. Kobach now has 3,268 rushing yards, which is good for 7th best in Toledo history. Kobach is only 68 yards away from the next best rusher and has a chance to move up the all-time rankings this upcoming Tuesday, November 2nd, when the Rockets will be home to play the Eastern Michigan Eagles. The volleyball team will also be home this weekend, for they will play the Miami Redhawks on Friday and the Bowling Green Falcons on Saturday. Back to you, Jordan and Lauren.
Thank you, Caleb. We end tonight with some exciting news.
The Press Club of Toledo's annual Touchstone program was held last week, and UToledo media communication students received honors and awards. Student Touchstones were awarded to last semester's UT10 crew, and our newscast director, who also hosts the UT10 radio podcast, Deepa Bushbull, received an award in the radio category. Congrats to all. That's it for us today.
Remember, you can catch newscast replays on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on social media and listen to 88.3 WXUT FM Saturday mornings at 7:45 for the UT10 weekly news update. We'll see you next week.